alive. Barely. Oh my god. How y'all doing? I'm sick as hell. Let's go live on TikTok as well. Let's get that set up. Hi! Feeling a little better? Not fucking at all! I'm feeling awful, baby! How y'all doing? I'm sick. I tested COVID negative, though. It's just a nasty head cold. I downed some Dayquil and chugged a whole thing of tea. So let's hope I'm doing better. What game are you playing today? Twisted Angel, I don't have the energy to play nothing. So I figure we'll do a chill stream. I got some stuff planned. Zenith Gober, how are you doing? I say we watch some videos. We'll make a tier list. We'll have some fun. Chill Friday, and then I nap. Okay. Pause the music for a sec. Cuz, and hear me out. I do want to talk about some stuff. Because some cool stuff happened while I was sick. Okay? First of all, we got introduced to these two. Iona and Bellybolt. Now, I'm gonna say it. You make something big, green, and squishy, that's gonna be my favorite fucking Pokemon. Because I fuck with that shit. Second off. So, have you all seen the theories about Bellybolt? Because so far, I've seen two, really. I've seen one saying that it's based off the beta design for Palpitoad. Or not Palpitoad, Politoad. One that it's the One that it's the beta design for Politoad that's been sort of like redone, which I think is pretty cool. I love seeing redone versions of beta sprites. And the second is that it is a supposed form of Chansey similar to Wiglet. And I could buy it. I mean, look at those. There are similarities like crazy. Now, obviously, that's an altered sprite. You can see that the arms they made sharper and everything, and the legs they made thinner. But I don't know. There might be something there. I'm enjoying it. What's the plan for reacting to stuff today? Man, I have a couple stuff. Obviously. So here's the plan. Put the music back on. Here's the plan. Last week I watched the Pokemon Iceberg by Wolfie VGC. Great video. But it got me thinking, I didn't know there was a whole Pokemon timeline. And I think that's fucking nuts. So I'm gonna check that out. Then we are going to be making a tier list of what, in my opinion, are the horniest Nintendo franchises. Because let's be real. For whatever reason, I think Nintendo fans are the most down bad gaming fans. Especially for a company that's supposed to be the family-friendly video game company. All of their fans are horny as all hell. So we'll be ranking that later today. But first, let's say we just relax. We watch some Daily Dose of Internet. I'm sick. I'm allowed to phone in content for a day.
Hello everyone, this is your Daily Dose of Internet. This man was very confused when he opened his front door and found a bag of milk taped to it. He looked at the security footage and saw that a police officer put it there.
I'll be able to get the 303 references call still, guys.
The police department released a statement saying that the officer was simply returning the bag of milk to who they believed was the owner.
Sorry, I need to go back and read that. What the fuck? Was that just me being sick or... Hey folks, we wanted to take a minute and clear the air. We've gotten a few questions from our local media partners today, which we've answered, but we wanted to come to our social media page and clear things up. Right here because of the amount of attention it's gotten. One of our officers was called to the 5200 block of Bangor Avenue yesterday at 7:37 for his check subject call. The officer spoke with the caller who told him someone specific left the bag of an opaque white liquid that appeared to be milk on their door, and they wanted the officer to return it. So our officer did just that. What the hell? I'm on course to treasure.
Bag of milk taped
Fuck
to
yeah.
it. He looked at the security footage and saw that a police officer put it there.
It's the weirdest shit I've seen all day.
The police department released a statement saying that the officer was simply returning the bag of milk to who they believed was the owner.
Were those pants?
I guess men are very simple creatures because these guys were entertained by a squeaky plant.
This is the next Mario. This is the English grass whistle.
Half these guys are baked out of their minds. I've gotta believe. They've revealed more men than women what side of their fan base they're accommodating to. True enough. Show him who's boss.
Oh my god.
Whisper. Whisper. Good job, Whisper. Whisper. Good job.
This cat was really upset that they woke up from their nap.
What
Aww.
happened?
Poor
You wake
kitty.
yourself up? No, you are so very grumpy.
Aww.
Dude, Isaac, you gotta come look at this, man.
One of my subscribers sent me a video of their old dog that shakes like this whenever they leave the house.
We're only gonna be gone.
Poor
for-
baby.
Oh my god.
I wish I never had an ass ever again.
I found a really cool website that can help you replace the word very with a more eloquent word.
Dreary. Ooh, I feel fancy. That's nuts.
I found someone that can make some incredible art using string.
How do you even begin getting into stuff like this?
That is the end of this video.
Like, no, go back, Mr. Daily Dose. What is the learning process for this? Like, if I got up and I'm like, I want to learn how to do string art, where the hell do I even begin? Is there like a class I can take? Where do you buy this circular thing? I don't understand. It's an amazing skill. I just don't know how you get into that. What's the learning curve for that look like? Okay. Nice warm-up. Let's learn about the Pokemon timeline. Now, there are several videos about the Pokemon timeline, but they're all like an hour long, 25 minutes, 15 minutes. That's not bad. Maybe I'll check that one out. 30 minutes. Man, that's basically a class. Give me the 7-minute rundown
Okay, so our story begins with a young trainer named Red, who travels all across the Kanto region fighting dangerous monsters, crime organizations, and eventually his lifelong rival Blue,
This
who
I
he
know.
defeats to become the Pokemon League champion, thereby accomplishing
Okay.
his entire life's goal by the humble age of 11. 3 years later, Team Rocket returns once again, but when we
Understandable.
needed Red the most, he vanished, up into the mountains to live out his angsty middle school loner phase.
You know, a lot of people keep forgetting that, yes, a lot of Pokemon trainers are 10, and that's weird. It's weirder that as like a 14-year-old, Red was just living by himself at the top of a freaking mountain. That's... Someone needs to call child services. Holy crap.
Thankfully, a new trainer rose up to defend the Kanto and Johto regions. Along the way, also coming across a Red Gyarados rampaging at the Lake of Rage. And wouldn't you believe it, that's the same Red Gyarados that we see on TV at the beginning of Diamond and Pearl.
Yes,
so
sir.
we can just put these right there. Now, hold your horses because we have to take a step back for Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. These 3 games are supposed to take place around the same time as Generation 1, but the evidence for this isn't exactly stated by the games themselves. There are a few hints, like being able to trade between Generations 1 and 3, as well as having some coinciding events, but the strongest evidence comes from this now deleted tweet by one of Game Freak's head writers, Toshinobu Matsumiya, which reveals the connection between Gens 1 and 3, as well as validating everything else that we covered so far.
That says red and green and gold and silver. It says nothing about Gen 3 here. I have been bamboozled.
Okay, now we can finally move on to Pokemon Black and White. After putting a stop to Pokemon PETA and their Bishonen Prince, our
He
hero
is hot.
takes on the Unova Elite Four, with one of their members being the sleepy psychic trainer Caitlyn. This is also the same Caitlyn that we see in Generations 4 and 2, but ambiguously older. How much older, I'm not too sure, but enough to say that from Generations 2 and 4 to 5, time has definitely moved forward, I guess. It
That
can't be
makes
too long
sense.
though, because 2 years later in Pokemon Black and White 2, we once again see our boys Red and Blue, and they still look like they literally haven't aged a day. Let's just put this mystery aside for now and move on to X and Y. Referring back to the old timeline tweet, we can see that X and Y is supposed to take place around the same time as Black and White 2.
Okay, I gotta be honest, y'all. Is there anyone that when the new Pokemon game drops is like salivating at the mouth, excited like, oh, we're gonna learn so much about the Pokemon timeline lore? Genuinely, I've never thought that deep about it. Like, because I know all the links in, like, Legend of Zelda are connected. I've seen videos on the Legend of Zelda timeline. I've never given a second thought to the Pokemon timeline and that there's a larger overarching story, because I don't think there is. But if you are, let me know, please. I'm
But
curious.
it's not actually on the same timeline as the rest of the games, and that's thanks to the inclusion of every competitive battler's favorite game mechanic, Mega Evolution. See, there's actually an alternate dimension that runs right alongside the main timeline where everything is exactly the same except not. Characters look slightly different, Pokemon can Mega Evolve, and the story changes just enough to be sold as an entirely new game. This includes X and Y, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and presumably an alternate version of every other game. Because by the time we reach Sun and Moon, 2 games that also include Mega Evolution, we see that a bunch of characters from all the previous games have also arrived on the Alola Islands. Then there's the case of Annabelle, who's originally from Pokemon Emerald and doesn't actually appear in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. In her case, she was magically sent by a wormhole from the original timeline to the Mega timeline 10 years before the start of Sun and Moon, adding a bit more concrete proof to the whole split timeline theory. So, we know that Sun and Moon takes place on the Mega timeline, but as to when, that's where it starts to get misty. I mean, you got Red and Blue, who look like they're in their 20s, and then you got Wally from Generation 3, who looks like he just graduated Poke Middle School. Let me remind you that Generation 1 and...
Sorry, I need a second to absorb that. I've got bad sick brain. Man, I can't wait to learn about... What causes Pokemon evolution? I just always assumed it was for Pokemon puberty. If you want the lore, just read the manga. I agree. My brain is already hurting. I'm beginning to see why people need like 30-minute videos for this.
Generation 3 are both supposed to have taken place like more than a decade ago. Thankfully, we have this concept art of Grimsley, a member of the Unova Elite Four, which states that 2 years has passed since his last appearance in Black and White 2, and by relation, also 2 years after X and Y. Okay, now we can finally go back and fill in the gaps between generations 2, 4, and 5. We now know that Annabelle arrived in Alola 10 years before the start of Sun and Moon. So, from her original appearance in Generation 3 and her latest appearance in Generation 7, the total years have to equal at least 10.
I truly believe that people give writers more credit than they deserve for things like this, and that sounds bad. What I mean by that is I think the fans put infinitely more thought into these timelines and how they react than the actual, like, devs do. I feel like the devs are just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we included an Easter egg of, like, oh, what if Red and Blue were in Alola? And everyone's like, yeah! And then the fans will overanalyze that to hell and back.
Using some quick math, we can calculate that the gap between generations 2, 4, and 5 must equal at least 3 years. But that's a lot of at leasts. Shouldn't we be able to narrow that down a bit? Well, how about you ask that question to my good friend Porygon. Porygon's Pokédex entry in Sun and Moon states that it was created roughly 20 years ago. Of course, we know that Porygon already has to exist before Gens 1 and 3, as they are available to be caught in the wild areas of these games. So, the gap between Generations 3 and Generation 7 has to equal at least 10 years because Annabelle arrived in Alola 10 years before the start of Sun and Moon, but no more than 20 years because Porygon still needs to exist in the wild areas of Gens 1 and 3, meaning that the time gap before Generation 5 has to equal between 3 and 13 years. Now, if you've already left a comment about how this timeline is stupid and that I'm looking too far into things,
okay, kind of calling me out there, that's fine.
I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is the video is almost over. The bad news is it's only going to get more convoluted from this point on. See, when it comes to remakes and third versions, I generally assume them to be interchangeable with the games that they're originally based on, as the story typically doesn't stray far enough to where we couldn't still assume that they lead into each other. But recently, these games have been getting more and more lenient with their stories, like in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, where the story is almost exactly the same as Pokemon Yellow, except your rival gets replaced with a doorknob, and Red and Blue are now NPCs, who finished their journey years ago.
Pokemon Let's Go includes Mega Evolution. It also includes character Mina, who originally appeared in Generation 7 as a trial captain. Mina is 13 to 15 years old in Let's Go, and Generation 1 through 7 are 10. Oh my god, that's so confusing. Why can't every game just be its own alternate timeline?
Let's Go timeline.
That makes things so easy.
Whatever, as long as there's not any more timelines we have to worry about. Right? Wrong. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there's an additional post-game where Giovanni brings back all the past evil team leaders for one Rainbow Grandpa Super Squad. But they're not from this timeline or any of the other timelines we've talked about. They're actually from alternate dimensions where the protagonist was defeated and they successfully carried out their evil schemes. So, yeah, it's not a timeline and it's not a time parallel line. It's a time web.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, here's the moment that you've all been waiting for. Where does Sword and Shield take place on the Pokemon timeline? Well, the answer is... I don't know. I don't know. In fact, nobody knows. There's literally nothing you can use to connect it to previous generations.
It's not that deep!
To the point where I'm pretty sure it's a conscious choice by Game Freak not to include any references to past games in an attempt to not step on their toes any more than they already have. Nobody wants another case of the 30-year-old but still looks 12 Wally. So there you have it, the official, unofficial Pokemon timeline.
That's nuts. That's way more complicated than it has any right being. Well, am I being a cranky sick man, or was that just unnecessarily silly? What do y'all think? Okay. For now, let's relax. Let's do some tier lists. Now, one thing I see a lot of people ask, and it's probably because I do way too much Pokemon content on my channel, is what my favorite Pokemon games are. So, I thought I would indulge and do a tier list of my favorite Pokemon games. Finally go through and answer some of these questions. It went in too deep. It was way too deep. Here's the thing. I think there's a general consensus that whatever Pokemon game you played first is probably your favorite. Which means that among the many generations of Pokemon fans, everyone has a different game. Whether you're a Gen 1 is peak, Gen 4 is the greatest, or maybe you're even a fan of the new games. Everyone has their own favorites. And personally, I think I have a couple hot takes when it comes to what good Pokemon is. So, let's start out, and let's get into my Pokemon main game tier list. We've got every single mainline release. We've got several tiers. I've played every single generation. And I will be spitting some cold, hard facts. So without further ado, let's get into it. You don't mind the newer games? Neither do I. I like them a lot. Yeah, let's put on some nice relaxing music. I'm about to make some enemies. Okay. Where do we start? Here, not that, not that. I need to set a vibe. What's the vibe I'm going for? Oh, I know the vibe I'm going for. Oh, Nabil, you might have some issues with my tier list then. So right away, I'm gonna make some enemies. And you all can... This is probably one of my hottest Pokemon takes, and I think I'm about to make a lot of enemies right now. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, C tier. I'm not a fan. I think that's a hot take. Here's the thing about Heart Gold, Soul Silver. They had to follow Gen 1, and they're a remake of a game that was clearly delayed and rushed. For 3 gyms in the Johto region, you are fighting level 25s. It's so easy to get lost in it. The biggest contribution it has to the franchise is letting Pokemon walk behind you. What else did it add? Gold and Silver are D tier, because here's the thing. I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver are amazing remakes. But they're amazing remakes of mid-games. Come at me! Pokemon walking behind you is great, but that's like the only great thing about this gen. Here, Gold, Silver, Crystal, D tier. That's a hot take, I'm well aware, but god damn it, it's mine. And let me be very clear, a Pokemon F tier is still like a 6 out of 10 game. But if we're talking relatively, I think Gen 2 is the most overrated generation. Overrated. Like I said, the pacing in the game is whack. They tried to fit in 16 gym leaders, but by the end of it, you're still fighting level 50s. By the time you reach Elite for the first time, you're fighting them with level 40s, because for 3 different gyms, you're fighting level 25, so it doesn't feel like you're getting any stronger. Not to mention, it's so easy to get lost and have no idea what to do. Gen 2's mid. Gen 2 is the game I point to when people say, oh, Pokemon games are too easy nowadays. I'm like, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like a baby's game with no direction. They're not difficult, they're just confusing. There's my hot take. There's my hot take. Yell at me all you want. Is that a hill I'm willing to die on? I will defend that opinion. Other games have Pokemon that walk behind you. L take. Y'all can hate me. You know it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. Okay. I'll put on my clown music. Okay. Let's talk. Remember, these are my opinions, and my opinions alone, and I will defend them. That being said, also in D tier are the original games. And I'm talking like the original Red and Green, not the blue and red that came over to America. Because the original games are dog shit. They were amazing for the time, bad now. Did I get the TikTok ban situation over with? Yeah, TikTok banned me for bullying because I kept trashing on Pokemon NPCs. But the original Japanese games, the sprites are bad. The sprites don't even resemble the Pokemon we know nowadays. But the later games, when they became like Red and Green, or Red and Blue, and they came over to the States, or whatever, when they came to the US, they were much better. And I'll be rating those to Pokemon Yellow. I'll put those in C tier. There's that. Fire Red and Leaf Green, though? Fire Red, Leaf Green, I would put above Gold and Silver. But maybe I'm just soft on Gen 3. I might put those A tier. I think Fire Red, Leaf Green is the peak Kanto will ever get. We're never gonna top it. We might give it graphical improvements, but we're not gonna make it better at its core, right? Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were fine, but they didn't really add anything, you know? But I would put them above Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I'll put them above Heart Gold, Soul Silver. What do y'all think about that? Come at me. Ain't no way. Gen 2? Hey, at least every other game, you can catch Pokemon in their region. You can't even catch Johto Pokemon till you get to Kanto. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Yeah, I'll put Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu above Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Come at me. They're good. Okay, y'all have a good point. Heart Gold, Soul Silver above Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but those two are above the original Gen 2 games. That's that. You all have a good point. You all have a good point. I was being a little harsh. Angry chatters today. Angry chatters today. Ooh. You want to know what's below them, though? Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Oh, shit. Nabil, did you get deleted by Nightbot? Might be. Okay, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl are F tier. And they're F tier because I bought the game. And I was like, hold on. I've bought these before. It's like the biggest letdown I've had. Holy shit. Okay, wait. Let me fix Nightbot for a second. Oh, it's all good? Okay, chillin'. Okay, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Let's talk about this. This isn't a hot take. This is like the most lukewarm take. We were all disappointed. I love Gen 4. I do. But these two just didn't add anything. No new mechanics. Of every Pokemon remake, these didn't do anything. In fact, it feels like they took away mechanics instead of adding them. At least the Let's Go games added new stuff and made it easy for players to get into the games. They added some Pokemon Go mechanics. Those are F tier. That being said, Diamond and Pearl are also A tier. Like I said, your first Pokemon game is always gonna be your favorite. These aren't my first, but they're the first ones I vividly remember getting super into. Diamond and Pearl Gen 4 probably has the best evolutions for older Pokemon. We're getting Electivire. We're getting Blissey. We're getting Togekiss. Gen 4 took Gen 2 Pokemon I did not give a crap about and made them cool. But more than that, they gave me Pokemon Platinum. Undoubtedly S tier. Actually, I'm looking at this, and I'm gonna move them all up. I'm gonna move them up. What can I say? What can I say? Platinum is S+. I think if someone is trying to get into Pokemon and they're asking what game they should play first, I'd probably say not Platinum, because that will set the bar way too high for everything else. Gen 3. Gen 3 is interesting. We have a couple things to rate here. Ruby and Sapphire are going straight into A tier with Fire Red and Leaf Green. They're great games, if not a bit confusing, a little rough around the edges, and I love Gen 3. I started with Gen 3. Pokemon Emerald, on the other hand. Pokemon Emerald came in with the fucking big swing and schlong and knocked out everyone's expectations. I once got Pokemon Emerald for a friend's birthday, and after watching videos of it on YouTube, decided not to give it to that friend and kept it for myself instead. And I never told my parents. Emerald is S. See, I have to rate Emerald because I'm not putting it in S+, because it's still a bit rough around the edges. You know, there are still a couple things that are like, really? But if I'm gonna replay a Pokemon game, it'll probably be one of these three. Almost as good? I don't think so. I think Emerald is great for battling and everything, but there's not much afterwards. Like Platinum, there's so much to do. There's so much connectivity, things to play. They have the underground. Legends Arceus? Okay. Let's rate Legends Arceus right now then. Legends Arceus is a solid A tier. It's so promising. If you had to ask me... Okay, pause the music. I'm putting Legends Arceus in A tier. To me, Legends Arceus is the modern day Pokemon Red and Blue. Because more than any of the others, Pokemon Legends Arceus seems to be the start of a new era. I think the mechanics introduced in that game are going to be mechanics that we are going to see in every game down the line. Pokemon Legends Arceus is very rough around the edges, but we can see a hint of promise in it, you know? We can look at it and be like, there's so much potential. And that's what a lot of people saw in Pokemon Red and Blue, but it's still trying to find its identity. We gotta give it 2, 3, maybe like 1 or 2 more games. Give Pokemon 1 or 2 more games to find that identity and really nail it down, and then we'll start getting our Pokemon Emeralds and our Pokemon Platinums. But we're in that sort of weird, awkward phase. You know, we gotta find it. And I liked it. We need another game set in Johto? No, Johto's trash. Okay. Let's do the Gen 3 remakes. Gen 3 remakes are B tier. I think they were so close. So close on the Gen 3 remakes. Because I love Mega Evolution. I like the stuff they added there. I like the extra stories they added. But they took away so much content. They took these large, sprawling dungeons where some of my best memories of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald were. And they turned it into a single room. And for that, I cannot reward. So I can't put it higher than the originals. Still good games. Just not better than the originals. I would still play Emerald rather than these remakes. Pokemon Black and White. The originals? Okay, let's change the music. This song is getting old. What do y'all think? Are these hot takes so far? We need more Hoenn? I do think so. If we got Pokemon Hoenn, but like in a Sword and Shield or Legends Arceus style, that would be sick. Black and White original is C. I'm putting the original Black and White in B. A little higher. Oh, that's Black and White too. I think Black and White were good games, but they were unfinished. But they introduced a ton of stuff that were really good. I'm gonna put them above the Gen 3 remakes. But they needed more time to become amazing. And I think, this might be another hot take, Black and White 2 are S+. Those are, in my opinion, the most complete Pokemon games. They're the best. They have the best mechanics, the best Pokemon variety for one region, the best story of any Pokemon game, and frankly, are some of the most difficult. Every person who bitches about new games should play Black and White too. I agree, they have the worst starters of all time. I will not oppose that. But you can box your starter. Because I think Gen 5 has some of the best Pokemon designs. Like, we're looking at Volcarona. We're looking at actually making bug Pokemon cool. Gen 5 is goated. Why is Yellow in C? Yellow is in C tier because it's old. And it doesn't hold up very well. I think everything Pokemon Yellow does, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee do better. Johto was amazing. Yo, why are all my chatters made exclusively of Johto defenders all of a sudden? We'll get to Sun and Moon. X and Y. Here's where I really have to think. Was I too harsh? Was I too harsh earlier? There comes a time when someone has to admit that they're wrong. And maybe I was too harsh. As I'm looking at the remaining games in this tier list, I agree. X and Y are C tier games. But when I see X and Y being C tier games and putting them here, because I think they just don't add a lot to the franchise outside of making it 2D. They're very light on content. None of the characters are memorable. Gun to your head right now, name 2 Pokemon X and Y gym leaders. You can't! You can't! All of their gym leaders look like OCs. Here. Look at this, look at this. Let me bring them up, let me bring them up. You can't name any of these. Who are these people? Who are these people? What is going on with his hair? She looks like a DeviantArt gym leader. These don't look like actual Pokemon designs. So, I'm looking at this tier list, right? And they're for sure C tier. But I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver are better than a wide margin. And I'm moving them up to tier B. I'm moving them up to tier B. I was wrong. I was wrong. Detective, how do you remember these? There's your justice for Gen 2. I still think that the Gen 3 games are better. But I admit maybe I was too harsh. I can admit that. Okay. Sun and Moon. I'm putting it at the bottom of A tier. I like Sun and Moon. I like Sun and Moon. What can I say? Sun and Moon is a weird Pokemon game. Can I say this? I see some controversies. I see some people saying it should be in D tier. I see some people saying it should be in F tier. Sun and Moon is a bad Pokemon game. But it's a great game. It broke the formula of what a Pokemon game should be. And I feel like we have to reward that. So bottom of A tier. Because I will say I smiled a lot more doing the goofy totem challenges in Sun and Moon than I did doing any of the gyms in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. However, it does lose points. And the reason why it's at the bottom of A and not higher up is because Sun and Moon and Gen 6 and 7 in general killed legendaries. They're not special anymore. Ultra Beasts, mythical Pokemon, mystery gifts, legendary Pokemon that personally look like dog toys. It's bad. But it also introduced Alolan forms, and Alolan forms are awesome. Overall, it's more good than bad. And more good than bad by quite a bit. What's up, Jose? See, I like the Alolan forms and ridiculous totem challenges. Zeraora, though? See, like, the mythical Pokemon in Gen 6 are pretty garbo. Like the Volcanion, is it? This is by far and away the worst legendary Pokemon in the game. In the entire franchise. This thing is a goddamn dog toy. Here, let me zoom in so people can see it. This is a dog's chew toy. It looks like I would go out and buy this for like $5.90. Here, wait. TikTok people can't see it. It looks like I would go out and buy this for my dog. There we go. This is a bad Pokemon. Because there is no lore surrounding it in-game. You can't catch it in-game without a special event. It's not even good. And it looks terrible. This is a dog toy. This is a toy I buy for my dog to chew on that says it's indestructible, and then my dog chews through it to get the peanut butter in 2 days. That's bad design. Okay. We're getting off topic. We've only got 4 more games left. I'm a dog toy? Wait, no, that sounds like a fetish. Y'all, I've been rewatching old cartoons lately. And like, how do I put this? Do you ever watch like a cartoon you watched when you were younger and you're like, oh, that's where that fetish comes from. Like, oh, yep, that makes sense. I see it now. It's all coming together. Like, I'm like, you know what? Redheads are kind of cute. And I'm like looking at shows I watched when I was younger. I'm like, yeah, Misty. Yeah, Kim Possible. Yeah, Dexter's mom. It's all coming together now. It's all coming together. Okay. Ultra Sun and Moon. Ultra Sun and Moon are the most why does this exist? Did we really need an updated version of Sun and Moon right after Sun and Moon came out? No, not F tier. I'm putting it D tier. Simply because I don't think it needs to exist. I don't think Ultra Sun and Moon need to exist. Because Sun and Moon were already pretty great, and I don't think they add that much content. Like, it's a year after the game's released. We didn't need a new version. And if you were, just do Pokemon like Dusk or something. Where Necrozma actually does stuff. Like, come on, y'all. And finally, the new games. Sword and Shield. What can I say? I really like Sword and Shield, okay? Here is my Sword and Shield defender monologue. Sword and Shield, yes, it handholds you. Yes, the story is garbage. Sword and Shield has some of the best Pokemon designs we've seen in years. Pokemon Sword and Shield has the best music of any Pokemon game, bar none. The Gym Leader theme, the Battle Tower theme, all of it slaps. Sword and Shield has the best character design of any Pokemon game. I can name every gym leader and their personality, and I can't say that for any other Pokemon game but Gen 1. I'm not a fan of Leon, sure, but we got pretty slapping DLC. The Ultra Raids are great! They're fun! They're the best cooperative Pokemon experience we've seen in years. It made it easier to get into competitive Pokemon by a mile. So I like Sword and Shield. That's the thing. I think they're great. I think they get a lot of... Pokemon Sword and Shield get a lot of flack because they took out a bunch of Pokemon. And I don't complain about it. I don't want to have to wade through a sea of Dunsparces to get a Larvitar that's actually cool. I don't want to have to wade through hundreds of Pokemon that I'm not attached to get to the ones that are actually really good. Also, the Galarian form slap. Bring on the hate. I'll defend it all. Heart Gold, Sword, and Soul Silver, 2 tiers below Sword and Shield. Yes. Yes. Objectively so. Toby Fox did. Toby Fox made the Battle Tower theme, and it's so good. You're leaving? Do it. These are my opinions, baby. I make the rules here. Black and White 2 are better than Platinum. That's a fact. I won't apologize. I'm too sick and cranky to apologize. But this is my Pokemon mainline game tier list. If a game is ranked low, it's because it doesn't need to exist. Or it's just rough around the edges. I ranked a lot of the older games lower, but that's because they were still finding their footing. I don't think Black and White belongs in S. I think Inteleon hate is uncalled for. It's not even bad. I do think Sword and Shield has pretty bad starters. Are you picking Scarlet or Violet? I'm picking Scarlet. The Platinum opening theme slaps? It does. I'm okay with being wrong. I can admit that. Maybe they do belong in A tier. They're like a low A, high B. It's hard to say. Here, I'll compromise on Pokemon Black and White. It's in between tiers. In between tiers. Okay. This is the final tier list. Okay, now here's the thing. We're making another tier list now. So, one... Let me get to my face. Let me get to my face. We need to have a talk, y'all. We need to have a talk. Is this the right song? Nintendo games are some of the most beloved by all ages. No one is denying this. But every Nintendo fan I meet, there's one common thread I find with all of them. That no matter what, they all have one thing in common. They are down bad. Why is it that for a gaming company that is so wholesome, so friendly, that all of their fans are determined to sexualize every single franchise they have? But not all communities are created equal. And so today, I will make some enemies. Today, I declare war. Today, I rank Nintendo franchises based on how down bad their fans are. Cause some of y'all are disgusting. Some of y'all make me ashamed. And some of y'all are getting flack for no reason. But we will figure that out here in today. We have several franchises. All the ones this list has. We have a tier list. I'm exposing you all. Top of the list, straight up deviant. You should be on a list. Right below it, suspicious individual. You're definitely someone I'd introduce to a group of friends with a caveat. Like, yeah, my friend Ryan is great. But here's the thing. Right below it, wouldn't leave you alone at a party. No, sir. No, I wouldn't. Below that, you know, you can keep it in your pants. That's not bad. You're doing pretty well. And then, honestly, below, if you're below that, you're not bad at all. An F tier, you're sterile. You know, I'm not saying... Let me be clear. Let me be clear. Switch suspicious individual and wouldn't leave you alone at a party? Yeah, I agree. Okay. Let me be very clear. I am not saying... To be clear, I'm not coming here to tell you whether creating lewd art or sexualizing these characters is right or wrong. I'm just here to rate how horny your fan base is. And I'm not trying... And you might like these games, you might not be horny. But you have to admit, the majority of the people who like these games are. So let's start it off simple, right? The granddaddy of Nintendo, Mario. Now, Mario is interesting, right? Because there's not many human characters in Mario. Like, most of the actual characters are, we took a mob like Goomba and we put a hat on him. And now he's Todd the Goomba. We made Bowser small. Now he's Bowser Jr. I think Mario is so milquetoast. Oh my god, I spelled this terribly wrong. Mario fans can keep it in their pants. Some of them, yes, are horny. But it's way more acceptable to be horny for Princess Peach than it is to be horny for a Splatoon inkling. I think that's much more acceptable. If you showed a random person off the street Princess Peach and you're like, hot or not, a lot of them would be like, yeah, hot. You know, that's not suspicious behavior. In that line, I'm also just going to get out of the way and put the Mario Kart people at you're not bad at all. If you bring them to a party, they're too busy getting drunk and playing Mario Kart to actually hit on anybody. Dr. Mario, at this point, you're like 70 years old. I'm assuming you just don't have sex anymore. You're sterile. They haven't had a Dr. Mario game in years. Ooh. This might be a surprising one. This might be surprising. I'm putting Wario at suspicious individuals. Because if you're down bad for Wario, you're in deep. You're in deep. What other kind of furry are there? Oh, honey, there's so many. There's so many. On the bright side, I have a new video to watch after we do this tier list. Okay. But yeah, if you're out there being down bad for Wario, you've got to be really down bad. There's like a chart of how easy it is to be down bad for someone. Where like, for example, Legend of Zelda has a really horny fan base, but it's very easy to be horny for Link. It's kind of hard to be horny for Wario, you know? Zelda fans, I'm putting it top of suspicious individuals. Every single Zelda fan I've ever met, every single one, is so down bad for one of the characters. Whether it's Sidon, Mifa, any of the Gerudos, Ganon Daddy, Zelda herself, or Link, they are the horniest fans. Can anyone really fight me on that? Every single one. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing fans are kind of suspicious. What's up, Nemu? We're having a sick stream today. I'm sick as all hell. But we're also radical. Nemu, where would you rate Animal Crossing fans on a horny tier list? Because I don't think they're sterile. Animal Crossing fans are into some sick shit. Animal Crossing fans will get there. Personally, wouldn't leave them alone at a party. Because, like, Animal Crossing fans are that kind of repressed crazy. Like, oh, you had strict Asian parents, and now you got to college, and you're gonna party like crazy. Oh, yeah. Cat eye color Animal Crossing. What was that cat's name? What was his name? Raymond? Yeah, Raymond. People were down bad for Raymond. Oh, or Anka. Both of them. People were so down bad for Raymond and Anka that I can't justify putting Animal Crossing any lower than this. Donkey Kong fans are more in love with themselves than they will ever be with other people. Sterile. F-Zero fans, you're not bad at all. Fire Emblem. This hits home. Because truthfully, I am a Fire Emblem fan. Let me put my music back on. Here's the thing. Where's the music I'm looking for? Where's the music I'm looking for? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Music. Hello. Knock, knock. I am a Fire Emblem fan. I am. It's my favorite Nintendo franchise. That being said, it has to go here. There was an entire minigame where you got to pet your significant other. That's weird! That's weird behavior. It's also a gacha game. And gacha game fans by default are sexual deviants. Kid Icarus, keep it in your pants. You know, Palutena's a snack. I get it. Kirby fans, I have to put you in honestly you're not bad at all. For my own well-being, I have to believe that you guys are the best of us. I have to. Luigi's Mansion? Horror fans are pretty down bad. People who like horror games, people who like horror movies, horror and like kinks, hand in hand. Mario Party? Sterile. Not because you're not horny, but because if you're the guy who says, let's play Mario Party at a social gathering, you're not getting laid. Everyone's just gonna be mad at you for the rest of the day. Metroid fans? Silent Hill Nurse? I see it, I see it. How horny are Metroid fans? Metroid fans can keep it in their pants, but let's not joke. Finding out Samus was a woman was a sexual awakening for thousands of people. thousands of boys and girls across the world saw Samus take off her armor for the first time in either Metroid or Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and were like, oh no. I feel something. Mother fans? Mother fans are some suspicious individuals. Let's be real. Mother is a weird-ass game for weird-ass people that are into some weird-ass shit. Pikmin! Pikmin fans are pretty great. If you're a fan of Pikmin, you're kind of allowed to be horny. Like, you've done enough for the world by supporting Pikmin. Pokemon! Okay, pause the music, pause the music, pause the music. Pokemon fans are some of the most degenerate fans in existence. Oh my god, where's my Nightbot? There we go. Thank you, Nightbot. Pokemon fans, I don't think anyone can argue, are deviants. If you're a Pokemon fan, you're horny for something. You're horny for Lopunny. You're horny for Professor Kukui. You're horny for an underage teenage girl who for some reason has a government job as a gym leader. Or you're a regular person and you're horny for Cynthia. Pokemon fans are down bad. And no one can argue against that. Now back to our regular scheduled kink shaming. Punch-Out? Is anyone like a die-hard Punch-Out fan? I don't know. Punch-Out feels like a game everyone likes, but it's no one's favorite. Yeah, not even an hour after a new Pokemon trailer is released, there's porn of them. Super Smash Brothers. How down bad are Super Smash Brothers fans? It depends. How close is a minor to their general proximity? I have to put Super Smash Bros. At the top because not only does it contain every franchise, but there are so many scandals in that community. In fact, we're making a new tier. Here, Pro Smash player. I said it! I said it! Let's be real. Let's be real. How many... It's true. It's true. What can I say? There are too many groomers in Pro Smash for me to put it any less. Splatoon! If I know anything about Splatoon, it's that the majority of its fan base are queer, and that they're all down bad. Like, I love Splatoon players, but y'all are at the top of what we would... Like, I wouldn't leave you alone at the party. You can't say, oh, they're a squid, they're a kid, and then draw lewd images of your characters. No. Star Fox fans are all furries, so by default, they're a bit suspicious. WarioWare... Wario is different than just Wario games. If you're a Wario fan, you're not that bad. I'll put you below Pikmin. Xenoblade Chronicles? It's an anime game. By default. Above Mother, below Animal Crossing. Just like every anime fan, you're probably horny. Are Yoshi fans down bad? Yoshi fans can keep it in their pants. I think this is pretty accurate, all things considered. I think this is a true-to-God list. This is how horny Nintendo fans are, based on your favorite franchise. That's right. I don't think Xenoblade fans are necessarily really horny. I think Xenoblade isn't like a drug, it's a gateway drug. Xenoblade is gateway horny. If you play Xenoblade, you become horny. Does that make sense? Like, if you finish the game, by default, you're about to go look up hentai. You don't start out looking at Xenoblade hentai. It's just where you end up by playing the game. And you don't even feel it happening, either. Put Pokemon in the Pro Smash tier? Nah. There's a reason it's its own tier. Okay. I've got one last video to watch. Actually, no. I think I'm ending it early. I gotta take a nap, y'all. I feel like shit. I just wanted to stream today because it's been a minute. But even though we're ending, I still got some cool stuff to do. I've got some cool stuff. I've got some cool stuff. Hear me out. Hear me out. Let me actually get to my talking screens. So I got some other streams. Because if you follow either my YouTube or my TikTok, I promise you, we've got some amazing stuff on the way. We've got some amazing shit on the way. Where the fuck is my music? Here we go. Coming up, I will become the greatest Nintendo gamer in the world. We're moving away a bit from Pokemon fan games and moving into God tier challenges. Soon, you will be rewarded for being my viewer. For example, every hour it takes me to beat Breath of the Wild, I will give you all $10 and let you buy whatever you want on Amazon. I will beat Minecraft in under an hour, or I will eat the spiciest chip in the world. If you beat me in a Pokemon battle, we spin a wheel and I have to do a punishment. Anything from waxing my leg hair to getting a tattoo. We'll still play Pokemon games, but it might be a bit different. I will do a Pokemon Nuzlocke against a complete amateur Pokemon player playing casually and race them to see if my Nuzlocke can beat their casual playthrough. I will become the greatest gamer. I will. And I hope you all look forward to the amazing streams I have on the way. Have a great day. I'm gonna go take a nap because I'm sick. See ya.